Hi UBC, it's February 6th. I'm Johnny Wakefield, and you're watching the Ubyssey Weekly Show.
This week in the culture section, we have an article about Problem Child and the End of Civilization at UBC Theatre, and an article on a group of UBC students who created a movie about a serial rapist who targets fathers.
This weekend in sports, we have men's volleyball, men's basketball, women's hockey. There's just so much shit.
So this week there's this thing called UBC memes that started, and we're going to talk about that a little bit.
There was a bunch of consultations, open houses taking place, so we have a story for you about the skate park that's meant to be built on campus soon, hopefully soon.
And beer on campus is about to be localized. The AMS is putting a brewery in the basement of the new sub.
You just heard a little bit about the brew pub that's slated to go into the new Student Union building. I'm here with AMS President Jeremy McElroy and VP Finance Ellen Tayar to talk a bit more about the pub. So I was wondering, how did the AMS determine that this was a possibility?
Well, actually, the idea of a brew pub has been around for a really long time at the AMS. It started in the 1980s when the pit was sort of in its heyday, and then the 90s they took a look at it again when sort of craft beer culture was really taking over Vancouver, and it was this past year that Ellen and I and a few other people at the AMS thought, why not in the new sub? You know, we had the perfect opportunity to do this, and we took on a firm to help us do a market feasibility study, and after a few months of research, some pretty intense planning, they came back and said this would be a fantastic idea for the new sub.
Now Ellen, is this going to be more cost effective to brew the AMS's own beer?
Yeah, we believe we're going to make a lot more profit doing this. It's more sustainable as well. We're looking forward to working with the farm, and yeah.
So what kind of facilities are required to brew beer on this scale, Jeremy?
It's actually pretty simple. All you need is a big empty room with a drain in the floor and all the equipment that you're going to need. So our mash tun, finishing tanks, access to like high pressured water, and the ability to store kegs. So we've built an extra large fridge in the facility to handle sort of the volume of what we're doing. But for the most part, it's not a huge addition to the square footage of existing bar space, right?
And where will this brewing equipment be going in the new sub?
It'll be right beside the new pit pub, and it'll be really interesting because you'll be able to see it from the atrium of the space. So the whole side wall will be glass, and you can look in and watch our master brewers as they brew the beer.
Now, who's going to be doing the actual brewing? Will you have a commercial partner there, or will students be involved?
We're partnering with another firm to actually create our own company to operate this space. So the license is going to be handled by the AMS, but the operations will be handled by this new corporation.
So there will be opportunities for the Ubyssey to get involved in different ways, and but for the most part, we will have our own staff who will run the commercial brewery.
Not that often, maybe about once a month, probably. I'd say at least once or twice a week, although don't quote me on that.
Once, twice a week.
I'm clearly a good person.
Whenever I have school. Once a week.
Once every 2 weeks.
That's all for this week. I'm Johnny Wakefield. Rolling is faster since 1918.
The sun will explode. Unfortunately, I promise we are not going to escape the solar system. There is no such thing as like an earthly eternity. Like that's a fundamentally flawed idea. And so when we live our lives in pursuit of like glory or fame or doing something that will be remembered, we're kind of orienting ourselves in a direction that doesn't actually exist.